In Africa, there is an abandoned land. Over the last 1,000 years, countries have been in constant wars over land, and yet no country wants this land. In the middle of Egypt and Sudan lies an unclaimed land the size of 2,000 square kilometers. But there is a reason why this land hasn't been claimed by anyone in the world, and there is a greater reason why Sudan and Egypt don't want this land. In fact, this land serves as a trap set by both countries for the other country. So let's understand the story of the only land in Africa without a country. BIR TWIL, an area 4 times larger than the Seychelles with nothing but desert, is locked in the middle of Egypt and Sudan. This is the simplest reason no nation in the world has any interest in this land. But what is the greater reason Egypt and Sudan have abandoned this land? To understand this, we have to look back to the colonial time. In 1899, the British, who controlled both Egypt and Sudan at that time, drew a straight border along the map separating the two countries. Then 3 years later, the British changed the borders because this area of BIR TWIL was considered to have Egyptian cultures, and this area of Al-Ahib Triangle was considered to have more Sudanese cultures. So, a new line was drawn in 1902, giving BIR TWIL to Egypt while Al-Ahib Triangle was given to Sudan. The change of borders was no problem for both countries since they were under British control until the mid-90s, when African countries were gaining their independence. Britain, along with other European countries, left the continent, which then left Egypt and Sudan with a border problem. Either the two agreed to the 1899 straight border, where Egypt controlled Al-Ahib Triangle and Sudan controlled BIR TWIL, or the later 1902 borderline, where it was in reverse. Both countries wanted the Al-Ahib Triangle, a land 10 times bigger with about 1,000 people living there, and a coastline along the Red Sea, compared to BIR TWIL, which was landlocked and empty. So, for years both Egypt and Sudan controlled the Al-Ahib Triangle together until 1992, when oil was discovered. This meant that the countries that controlled the land would control the oil, and so the border problems, legal disputes, and later assassination attempts started. Egypt currently controls the Al-Ahib Triangle based on the 1892 borders, while Sudan claims it belongs to them because of the 1902 borders. Therefore, none of them will claim the BIR TWIL desert because it would mean forfeiting the Al-Ahib Triangle. These two regions are forever linked, which then makes BIR TWIL geographically and politically the largest land trap in Africa. And that's why no nation wants this land.